Welcome to Weekends at IIITH. As many of you would already know, we have been conducting many live sessions and recorded broadcasts about academics, research, and life on the IIITH campus. These are being recorded and made available online on our YouTube channel. Do check out our social media handles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn about future sessions. The theme of today's special recorded broadcast is IIITH Women in Engineering, Students' Perspectives. The aim of this session is to learn about the lives and experiences of women students at IIITH. This is especially important because this year we are focusing on improving gender diversity in our student body. One of the major goals of our undergraduate admissions in 2020 is to secure an intake of at least 25% women students through the JEE main mode. To this end, we have a diversity pool with special incentives for women students applying through the JEE. If you would like to get more information on the JEE diversity pool, please keep an eye on our webpage, that is ugadmissions.iitit.ac.in/diversity. You can also email us at admissions.diversity@iiit.ac.in. My name is Shraddha Sehgal, and I'm a third-year undergraduate CSE student at IIIT. I will be the interviewer for today's session, and I am thrilled to be talking to such inspiring and talented women. I will go to the panelists now and request them to tell us a little bit about themselves. Perhaps we can start with Haripriya.
Hello, I'm Haripriya. I'm a UG3 student at IIIT Hyderabad doing Electronics and Communication Engineering. My hometown is Hyderabad. I've been born and brought up here. And my schooling was in CBSE. I shifted to state board in my 11th and 12th and took simultaneous coaching for JEE mains. I studied in Narayana Junior College. My interests are mainly signal processing and machine learning. That's me.
Thank you, Haripriya, for telling us about yourselves. Kritika, would you like to introduce yourselves next?
Absolutely. Thank you, Shraddha. So, my name is Kritika. I'm a final year dual degree student in computer science at IIIT Hyderabad. I come from Bangalore. I live in Bangalore, and I have mostly during school, similar to Haripriya, I used to be in CBSE. And for 11th and 12th, I went to Narayana for JEE coaching. And after that, I went to a different institute, a government institute, where I studied for 2 years. And initially, I was in electronics, but I changed my branch to computer science in that institute. And eventually, I found this mode of entry called lateral entry at IIIT Hyderabad. And after 2 years of studying in that university, after that, I shifted to IIIT Hyderabad and continued my academics here. And some of the things that I'm really interested are within the field are, like Haripriya said, machine learning and competitive coding. And overall, I have had strong support from my family to always pursue education and to excel in whatever I'm doing. And that has really helped me a lot to reach till here. And I have also gotten a great set of friends and the family at IIIT Hyderabad, which have helped me improve a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Kritika, for sharing your experiences. Prerna, would you like to tell us about yourself next?
Yeah. Hello everyone, it's a great pleasure for me to be here. I am Prerna Gupta and I am third year computer science and engineering student here at IIIT Hyderabad. My hometown is Purvaya, which is Shahjahanpur district, Uttar Pradesh. And my father is a shopkeeper and my mother is a housewife. And I've studied till my 12th standard from my town only. And then in 11th class itself, I joined Udan classes, which was conducted by government to provide free engineering education to girls. And that's all about me.
Thank you, Prerna, for sharing that. Pooja, I request you to introduce yourself next.
Hi, I'm Pooja. I'm a final year electronics and communication dual degree student in IIIT Hyderabad, and I am basically from Bangalore. I have finished till my 12th grade studies in Bangalore itself. Later, like Kritika, I also went to a government institute and pursued engineering there for 2 years, and then I learned about lateral entry in IIIT Hyderabad from my senior, who is Kritika itself, and then moved to IIIT. So my major interests are robotics and machine learning. So that's about me.
Thank you to the panelists for sharing their journeys. Now let's move on to the questionnaire. We would love to know more about you. So my first question to you is, why did you choose to come to IIIT? What did you expect when you joined, and has your experience corresponded to that?
Like I said, I was previously in a different institute, and I initially did not imagine that I would be doing engineering, but then I did land up in an engineering college, and I did not expect to like engineering as much as I do right now. So my experience over the years has definitely been positive. So I decided to move to IIIT Hyderabad because I heard the institution concentrates mainly on experience-based learning more than theory-based learning, and what my expectations were, my experience definitely aligned with it. I wanted to have more on-hand experience and being more of a practical learner than a theory-based learner. Does not mean that IIIT Hyderabad doesn't concentrate on theory. It does, as much as it emphasizes on practical learning. So over the years that I have been at IIIT Hyderabad, I have had a very positive learning growth, and which is not only come from what the professors are teaching you, but also from the environment that you live in, which also encourages you, and which has encouraged me to explore beyond my limits, beyond what I thought I could do. So definitely, yes, it has been a positive experience, from attending classes and doing projects to attending competitions. So yeah, that's my experience in IIIT so far.
So when I was in my 11th standard, I had computer science as one of my subject, and then they used to teach us basics of C programming and internet protocols. Everything was in one. So I started getting curious about like computer science. I wanted to know more about this field and what is more in that. But then it was kind of my interest, but I wasn't sure that is it what I really want, and is this my dream. But then after my 12th grade, when my board exams finished, then my parents and everyone started searching for colleges, and then I found about IIIT, and I've studied, I've read about it, and then I found that I found about its coding culture at IIIT, and then finally I decided to I told my father, and I decided to come to IIIT, and then I've read about that there was one mode of admission at IIIT, which was SPECT mode of admission, and through that, under that mode, it was like the girls who had joined Udan classes in the 11th and 12th standards, there was a separate exam which was conducted by IIIT for them to come to IIIT. So it was great luck for me that I joined Udan classes in 11th and 12th. So I was able to sit for that exam, and for that exam I've qualified the interview, and then finally I came to IIIT. So regarding my experience, I would say I didn't expect much in the starting, because I wasn't sure how it's gonna be, and then when I had my first class here at IIIT, then it was completely different from the classes which we used to have at our school level. Their teachers just used to tell us how different ways of memorizing things, how to memorize this log elements in periodic table, or like a lot of things. So but here professor was, if someone is teaching us something like some algo or some model, then they were telling us the real, they were telling us where do we implement this in real life, where do we need this. So they told us the kind of connection between the thing, the algo we are learning, or where are we going to use this. So it was kind of great experience for me. And that's it.
So when I was in school, I really used to enjoy solving maths and solving puzzles, logical puzzles, and I just enjoyed the kind of challenges and fun that came out of that. And gradually I discovered that all the basic computer science that we learn, which I would say is beginning of programming, is a lot of maths and logic put together, and you put your mind together to solve interesting logical puzzles. And that was the strongest motivation for me to get into computer science. And IIIT Hyderabad, specifically because of what I had heard about it, that it offers you a lot of exposure in the field, and it gives you a lot of opportunities to figure out what you want to do within computer science or within whatever that they are offering to you. And only after coming to IIIT Hyderabad did I actually realize that computer science is a very vast field, and there's a lot more that you can do within it rather than just simple logical puzzle programming. And yeah, so the main reason I wanted to join IIIT Hyderabad was for more exposure in the field and to get a great community where I can interact with my peers and my faculty and really do well in my academics. And I have definitely gotten all of that from my experience.
So when I was first looking through colleges after mains, some of the main things that I heard about IIIT were its coding culture, its 100% placement. Also its location. It is located in a very convenient place. It's basically located at the heart of the IT community in Hyderabad. So these were some of the major factors that influenced my decision to come here. When I came here, I was initially very apprehensive about whether I could catch up because I had pretty much zero computer knowledge. But the main thing about IIIT and the courses is that they are built in such a way that they start from the basic and then they build up. So for me, that was very helpful. And since it's a very close-knit community, the teaching assistants and the professors, you can interact with them more. They provide a lot of support and help. So they were all major plus points for me. And one of the major advantage and my best experience in IIIT would be all the assignments and projects that I've done here. So they basically go beyond classroom learning and have real world applications. So they were a learning experience for me. And the experience that I gained at IIIT was much more than what I had expected.
Journey. Now I have the next question for the panelists. Who are your mentors and inspirations?
So my biggest inspirations are my parents, and they have both always inspired me to work hard and to enjoy whatever you're doing. And so those are my two biggest inspirations. From the world of science, I can say that someone who has really inspired me was the physicist Stephen Hawking. And it is incredible to see that despite the major challenges he faced in his health, he still continued to pursue his work and do a great job at it. And so that is a very inspirational story for me. My mentors are my advisors, my research advisors at the university, Professor Praveen Parucheri and Professor Sujit Gujar. They have helped me through all ups and downs within research, with coursework, with peer pressure, with the difficult challenges that I faced in college in general, and they are my biggest mentors. Yeah.
As Kritika said, that my parents also, like, they were always my inspiration. Like, then not only they supported me in like in my doubts regarding any problems I had in studies, or they've also had been like solving general problems. So they've always been my inspiration. But regarding this science field, I'd say like before coming to college, I didn't consider really anyone as my mentor, because I didn't find anyone with whom I can share, or I can ask whatever doubts I have, or whatever choices I have as my career, so I can share. Because I was the first one in my family who came to engineering, who have joined this field. But after coming to college, like I find like everyone who's like around me as my inspiration. In fact, I find when I was in first year, I've started I've seen Shraddha, her dance. She's a brilliant dancer. So I started finding, I've seen her as my inspiration, and daily I see different Facebook posts here regarding the hackathon. Like my batch students only, they won some hackathon. So all these people are kind of inspiration for me, and they are motivating me in their own ways to do something like that, so that I can also do something.
My main inspiration throughout my entire life has definitely been my family. The love, the support, and the care that they show is an immense support for me, been an immense amount for me throughout my life. And they definitely inspire me to be a better person and do the best of every opportunity that I'm given. So my family, everyone in my family has inspired me throughout my life, and they have to be the biggest inspiration. And speaking about my mentors, I am I am not the kind of person to go and talk to every person in the campus. So the very small number of people that I know, be it my seniors or my classmates, have definitely helped me as mentors at one point and another. From my previous campus and at IIIT Hyderabad, my seniors have definitely helped me explore more and gain knowledge about any different opportunities. So my seniors and my peers definitely are my mentors and inspirations. Yeah.
Yeah, so as Pooja said, I also have, my mentors are also my friends and my seniors. They've advised me, they've encouraged me and motivated me to take up new things. And whenever there is any setbacks for me, they've been my motivation. My inspiration are my parents for supporting me and encouraging me. They've never said no, and they've helped me a lot in following my path. So if I'm here today, then I would think that it's due to my parents only. Another inspiration of mine would be all the female students who got into this field and who are excelling at it, because they've given me the confidence to achieve more. They've given me the confidence to work hard and to achieve my dreams.
So moving on to the next question that we have. What are some of the projects, interesting activities, or any kind of learning opportunities that you have experienced so far?
Yeah, so like the thing which I like at IIIT most is that when I was in my first year and second year, so even CSE, I was in CSE branch, and even then I used to have 2 or 3 EC subjects that I like the most in the beginning. So when I was in second year, so I had done a project under my indirect system workshop project. So that was sound and noise detection. So in that we have made one sensor kind of detector, and under that if noise is coming, this is above a given threshold, then we have to detect that. So it was very fun doing that. So, and another project was we have in first year we have Internet of Things course, and under that we used to make different adder, subtractor, multiply different blocks, and then we used to have fun with the resistors, capacitors. So it was great experience doing that projects. And I did one project as my software development course, which I had in my second year. So in that course, project, we had a team of 4 members, and we have a company, and the company has to decide what project they have to give us. And we used to have the regular proper client meetings and regular proper documentation and all that. So I guess that project has taught us a lot of things like teamwork and collaborations and all that. So these were kind of projects I did.
I'm an ECE, so one interesting project that I did was under my electronics workshop course. It's to build an audio amplifier, which is basically a mic. So we had to design the circuit and we had to build it from scratch using the basic components like resistors, transistors, and capacitors. So it was a very interesting project and we had a lot of fun playing different songs on it. Another interesting project that we had was in IoT, which is, as Prerna said, Internet of Things. So we had some very interesting things like a street light, like a energy saving street light, which switches on when there are people walking, or a gas alarm or a fire alarm. So it was the first time for me doing something that had a real world application. So that was a very nice experience for me.
So I guess playing around with the most basic components in electronics lab has to be a great experience for me. And one of the projects that I did that I really enjoyed was designing a cell phone charger. So rather than just using the parts that were given to us, the learning that went behind learning how a cell phone charger works and the basic requirements was very interesting, and it definitely expanded my knowledge and just learning about resistors and capacitors directly. So that was a very fun project that I did, and other than that, definitely enjoyed some of the other courses that were like image processing, which actually helped me gain knowledge about a completely new domain which I did not know existed, and also made me explore more into it, which is something that I am currently working on as well. So trying to detect faces from an image was also a project that I did in the beginning that I really enjoyed.
So one project that I did as a part of the graphics course was actually using simple C language programming, building a three-dimensional game where people can actually play it and earn points, earn lives, and all of those things. So kind of building the graphics behind it and even building the whole point system behind it, all of that was really exciting, and it was a very new experience because I had never worked with creating games before, and it was a lot of fun to make your own game. Another thing that I would say has been a great learning experience for me, it wasn't a course project, but it was contributing to the open source community. So the open source community is a place where people all around the world who code, who can document, who can code, come together to build tools which help people, and they do it in a way which is completely free, and anybody who has access to the internet can access that code and they can use it. So it is a very free and open community, and contributing to that to make tools that could help other people, especially now building apps for COVID-19 so that people can stay safe. That has been a really enriching experience for me. Yeah.
Sharing that. Now we have spoken at length about all of your academics and careers and whatnot. So what is it that you all like to do apart from this? I request Prerna to tell us first.
Yeah, thank you, Shraddha. So I like generally I like singing a lot, and I like to play badminton. Which when I was in college in second year, like I used to go to play badminton daily, like in the evening. And generally, apart from badminton, generally I like sports. In our college, we used to have sports day, which was 3 days event. We used to have, and then when I came here, I participated in long jump, relay race, triple jump, and all those sports day competitions in my first year, second year, and so I like these things. And instead of that, I like exploring different things also. So that was kind of activities which I've liked. Thank you.
Yeah, so apart from academics, I like to dance, even though I'm not really good at it. So I've participated in flash mobs and even in Felicity, which is our cultural fest. And in coming to sports, well, I play badminton and table tennis. I started playing table tennis after coming to IIIT, And we also have a lot of inter-house and inter-batch sports competitions that I've participated in. And badminton is one sport that's really close to me. That badminton was the only reason I actually woke up early morning in college. Yeah, so.
Fumbled a bit. So something that has been fun and new and inspiring for me and my peers to do was conducting sessions for women at IIITH as a part of a group called Lean In, along with Shraddha actually. And where we invited speakers, guest speakers from different companies, all leading women in their fields, and just listening to their stories and interacting with more of my batchmates and juniors to build a stronger culture for women in the college community has been really great. More personally, I have enjoyed the art club activities in college, and I have enjoyed singing a lot at various opportunities that you get to perform at college. Yeah, that's what I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I really enjoy doing yoga, and I enjoy doing yoga in my free time, and that's one way I really like to spend my time. And other than that, I have started developing new habits, mainly from people around me. So there is a yearly event in IIIT Hyderabad organized by the music club called IIIT Unplugged, where I've seen a lot of my friends, juniors, seniors perform, and that's really motivated me. And I have started learning the ukulele and started enjoying singing because of that. So that's something I really like to do in my free time.
Thank you, Pooja, for sharing that, and thanks to all the panelists. I think we have such a talented and unique bunch here, and I can definitely attest to whatever it is that you said, be it playing badminton or Haripriya performing on stage and at the Flash Novel, hearing Kritika's melodious voice at so many singing functions. Great to know that you all are so involved with the campus activities. Now, moving towards a more serious question. What are some of the challenges that you have faced in fulfilling your dreams?
So the major challenge I would say I faced before coming to college, that was because of my economical conditions. So when I got selected for the interview, then my father was asking about the fee structure and all that. So when I came to interview, then came for the interview, then I came to the brother, and then I and my brother talked with Professor Deepti, and then she was really helpful. She has told us different policies they have at IIITH, and then one of the policy was you can complete your graduation here at IIITH, and then when you get the job, then you can pay the fees, which is going to be the fees of the first year students at that time. So that was kind of really helpful for me, and then she helped me overcoming that challenge. And another challenge, I would say I guess that's gonna be concern of so many of our parents when since I was in my 8th standard, I used to have a severe stomach ache, and then I guess that's a concern of lot of so many parents. So because of those because of that my stomach ache that used to be so severe, and then I had to go to when I was in my 12th standard, I remember then it was my physics board exam, and then in the middle only then I started started having stomach pain, and then because of that I had to leave my exam in the middle, and then I got admitted. So when I was in that was kind of situation. But before coming to IIITH, my parents and everyone was so scared, how am I going to survive this? And then I was coming so far from my town to Hyderabad. So, but then when I came, and then that situation arrived once when I was in my 2nd semester, and Haripriya was my roommate. I remember that incident, and we had IOT, we have our IOT exam, and I went we went for the breakfast in the morning. And there, I suddenly started having pain, and then I got fainted, and then even I would say that there was professors, mess workers, everyone was so helpful. They took me to the hospitals, and then then it was I was okay. I was feeling kind of okay after after the treatment, and then it was 1 hour, like 1 hour before the exam. So I said I'm feeling okay and I want to give the exam. Then they took me back to the college and then went to the lab. Then there was Professor Lavanya. She said that she heard about me and if I'm not okay, then you can go back, take the rest. She'll postpone my like lab exam and I can give it later. So this was kind of experience, like this was kind of challenge I faced, but the Triple like helped me in all possible ways. Yeah, that's all.
So to be honest, I was very thankful for my parents. They've supported me, so I did not face any struggle from their side. They've encouraged me and given me their 100% backing. But one struggle that I had to face was the 2 years that I had to spend in coaching. So it was really hard going and studying for 11 hours a day, and I came back mentally strained. But coming here was most definitely worth it. It was worth all the struggle that I had to go through.
I'm really glad to say that from my family side, I've never really faced any trouble or any challenge as such. They've been incredibly supportive and they've always encouraged me to go out of my way to achieve anything. So one thing that I would like to say is something very personal, but yeah, I was really worried about having to go live in another state without knowing the language, and I was definitely worried about the community and the environment that I was going to be living in, since I'd never been out of stayed away from home for more than even a week as such. So staying away for 4 years seemed like a lot and very difficult, considering that I didn't know the language that I was language of the city that I was going to be living in for the next 4 years. But then coming to IIIT Hyderabad was a completely different environment. There are people from all kinds of backgrounds and people who speak all kinds of languages, and it was a very friendly environment, and yeah, I definitely do not regret my decision.
Yeah, so I will share 2 stories. Hopefully it won't take too long. One was when I was giving my 12th board exams, about 4 to 5 days before my board exams started, I and my entire family got a severe case of eye infection called conjunctivitis. And due to that, I wasn't able to read, I wasn't able to study at all. And so till majority of my exams, till almost all my exams got over, I barely got a chance to study. And I would say that I had prepared in advance because we had a concept of pre-boards and I had prepared for that. And that really helped me to be able to give my board exams without preparing at all, almost. And I still managed to get good marks. And that kind of left me with this lesson to always be well prepared for anything, because you never know when opportunities are going to come, and you never know what situation you will be when there are opportunities in front of you. So that is one lesson I learned from a very personal challenge. The other second challenge that I faced was when I joined IIIT Hyderabad. Initially, it just, so till that point, I had always, maybe it was easier because there was less syllabus in general, but I had always gotten good marks, above 90 in everything, and A grades everywhere. And so one semester at IIIT Hyderabad, I found it extremely challenging, and my grades and academics were suffering. And there were all these new things that I had to learn, which I had never even heard of. And it was really difficult for me to adapt so easily and to learn all these new things and new tools so quickly. So by the end of one semester at IIIT Hyderabad, I felt quite demotivated, thinking that maybe I wasn't good enough for this institute. But then after speaking to some people who motivated me to really try again and try with an open mind and learn how to learn new things. Like that is in fact one of the motto of our, yeah, so just learning to learn new things. And I really picked that up in my second semester at IIIT Hyderabad. And since then, I have gained a lot more confidence and I have gained a lot more, I've gained a lot more confidence in facing newer challenges and relying less on how well I have done so far. Yeah.
Now, I have a very interesting question for you all. Why do you think that there are so many girls in engineering colleges, but the top engineering colleges do not have a good representation of girls? What needs to change to ensure this greater representation?
There are a lot of girls in normal engineering colleges, but when you come to these top tier colleges, the number falls down very drastically. I think this is mainly due to the kind of environment that a lot of girls in our country grow up in. So there's a lot of criticism and prejudice related to girls in these fields to actually study hard and work hard. So what I've seen is that it's not always direct. It's always sometimes indirect or subtle, where you're told that maybe you can't survive in that environment, maybe it's too stressful and you can't make it there. And when you come to these top tier colleges, many parents are really apprehensive about sending their children to some other state, especially girls, and that generally hinders the number of participation of girls a lot it takes. So to see other girls who have excelled and survived and thrived in these colleges, who've paved their way, would be a very good inspiration for these girls to actually work hard, to know that even they can do it. So that is one way that we can change, by leading them, by inspiring them and talking to these girls at an initial stage. So that sort of inspiration, when you have that sort of inspiration from the beginning, you will really be able to achieve great things.
I'd like to start off by saying something that I've experienced in person. Since I have been in school till I've done my 11th and 12th, I've always seen that most of the girls are encouraged to take biology in their 11th and 12th as their fourth subject, and they're encouraged to be doctors more than they're encouraged to be engineers. Like, I have seen a lot of boys from my age feeling free to take up computer science in their 11th and 12th, but girls hesitate to do so. But so I think that's one thing that comes from the society itself, that where the society is always encouraging girls to enter the field of medicine. I'm not saying it is wrong, but the same kind of support that guys receive, the encouragement that they receive to pursue computer science and electronics from an earlier stage is not given to girls, is something that I think is lacking in the society. So the field of information is not just is not something that girls can't thrive in, and I think that definitely has to change. And another reason that I think so is, girls are mainly trained to concentrate on their board exams, which is not exactly how competitive exams work as well. So there are some people who perform really well in board exams but fail to show their performance in JEE Mains, which is one reason why there's such low, entry of female students into top tier colleges. So I mean that kind of encouragement and coaching to prepare for competitive exams, I think, should be provided from an earlier age rather than just the last couple of months where they try to prepare for the exams. So I do think that encouraging women to start preparing for these competitive exams and encouraging them to take up information related subjects from a younger age would be very helpful to see a change in the sex ratio and a lot of top tier colleges in the future.
So I would like to start off by saying that both Haripriya and Pooja have raised really important points, and I strongly support what they're saying. And in addition to that, something I feel that makes sense to this specific question is that to be able to go to maybe say the topmost colleges, you have to take a certain degree of risk in the process of application. So there's a risk involved because kind of the better the place, there are higher chances of you getting rejected as well. Just in general, not as a girl, not as a boy, in general, because the topmost institutes are more selective in general. And in my understanding, I have seen that the way girls are brought up, they are kind of taught to be risk averse, or they try to play safe, whereas boys take risks more freely. And the reason for that is a fear of failure. So, from my observation, I might be wrong, but from my observation, I've seen that girls tend to take failure a lot more seriously than boys do, and it affects their self-worth, or maybe that's just how their upbringing is, but that's just my observation. So I would say that from a young age, if we are teaching girls that it's okay to fail, what's the worst that could happen? You just learn from it and you try again. And so it's possible that maybe just out of that fear of failure or the fear of risk, girls aren't even applying to the topmost places and automatically thinking that, yeah, I'm probably not good enough for this place. Whereas a boy of the same caliber would apply, and worst case, if he gets rejected, he's okay with it. It's okay, there are more options. So overall, I think that creates a bias. So one example which I can give you is job applications. Suppose you want to apply for the job of a software developer at some company. Now the requirements for that job are listed on the page that, okay, maybe you need to have a degree, you need to have 3 years of experience. So maybe they have a set of around 5 to 10 requirements. Something that I've noticed is when girls look at these requirements, they will not apply unless and until they satisfy each and every single one of those requirements. Whereas boys, on the other hand, even if they satisfy 60 to 70% of those requirements, they will apply and they will be like, okay, worst case, I'll just get rejected. So I think that is something that's important to build in all children, that you take risks, you don't fear failure, and you learn things by trial and error, not just by textbooks and definitions. Yeah.
Wow, Kritika, that was really an interesting take. I just like to add something here that it was a very valid point that you brought up, that girls are more skeptical of what it means to fail, and society is not very forgiving to girls who fail, because there's this whole stigma attached around it, and that for some odd reason does not hold for the boys.
So, like, I would say, like, as Harita mentioned in the beginning, like, I would say the main problem, or like main reason of this is the environment where all the girls grew up. Like, even I see, like, in my area, in my town, even I see daily that they're my neighbors, and I've got like the one of my neighbor and the one girl who got like who was younger than me, and she got married like 2 months ago, like before. So it was really disheartening to see all these things, like what all this is happening. And I don't think if we say something, if we tell them about the girls, like regarding like how many girls there in engineering college nowadays, or what girls are doing, I don't think it's going to change like their perception until they like themselves think that like, is this whatever they are doing, is this correct, or like whatever they're doing with the children. And why we even had this question, like why they are considering girls as less as boys. So I guess the main reason of cause of this, because of the environment where they grew up and the mindset kind of thing which they have put in the, like in girls, like they can't do this, or like it's just the bio which Pooja mentioned, like you can just do the bio thing even if you want to further study, or just cooking is for you, or like that, all these misconceptions. So yeah, that's what I want to say.
Alright, so I'd love to hear all of your opinions on this. I also very strongly feel about this issue, so I would love to offer my take as well. Pooja, you brought this up that girls are more encouraged to focus on boards. And that's an interesting point actually, because for the past 5 years, the CBSE India boards topper has been a girl. And that's for 5 continuous years. So that proves that girls do not lack caliber. It's not that they don't have a scientific aptitude, which is a common saying that we keep saying that, maybe girls just lack that scientific mind. And that's not true, because we have seen proof that they do just as well and even better at times at the science board exams. So somewhere something is going wrong, that they are not performing just as well in JEE when they do have equal capabilities. So what I believe is a primary cause for many girls being enrolled in engineering but not enough girls being at the premier institutes is that even if they do get in to the premier institutes, many parents often hold back from sending them to these institutes. Of course, many of the reasons have been already covered by the panelists, including that girls are supposedly supposed to play it safe, or they're supposed to be risk averse, and they're just generally skeptical of going to institutes that require more rigor. One of the reasons also is that parents feel that it's safer to have the girl child at home, so they are skeptical of sending them to far off institutes. So they would prefer to send their girl child to a local institute rather than a premier institute that's somewhere in the city or somewhere in a different state, because they prefer it when the girls are close to them. That often limits capable girls' education, because when they have better options, they still have to settle for less. And not just that, as we've already mentioned, that girls do in fact have scientific aptitude. They don't perform just as well in the JEE because they often don't have access to the same learning material that boys do. Many girls are held back from availing education at their various coaching institutes. In fact, residential coaching institutes have an abysmal ratio of girls studying there, because parents again are very skeptical of sending their girl child far away from home. So if the girls don't get the same facilities to begin with, then how do we compare their performance on the common exam? Because they did not have the same starting ground. So even though there are many girls in engineering colleges, the premier institutes lose out on their capability. Another question, I mentioned that people still think that girls are not good at engineering, or that it's not a good choice for them. What do you think about this? Haripriya, maybe we can hear your views first.
Yeah, so as you said, Shraddha, it's mainly because girls don't generally get the same resources as boys do. So this gives them a sort of a setback. This is a setback for them, and their starting point is usually back. And because of this has been continuing for so long that it has become a preconceived notion in everybody's heads that girls can't succeed. And this has been carried on for so long, and I feel that the only way to shatter this prejudice is for more and more girls to take it up and to prove themselves in this field.
Yeah, so again, adding to what Haripriya is saying, I would say that I think it's really easy for societies and people to classify something as good or bad, or two extremes always. So it's easy for them to say that technical fields are more traditionally manly in nature, and maybe more medical or artistic fields are more feminine in nature, and this is definitely not true. It's a dichotomy, and I would say that just for any girl who and you might have interests which are viewed as traditionally feminine. Maybe you like wearing pink colored clothes, maybe you like watching really sweet movies, and maybe you like all those things which are viewed as traditionally feminine. That does not stop you or make you any less worthy of becoming an engineer, a scientist, or any other field that you want. You can keep your entire personality intact, which could have some traditionally masculine traits, which could have some traditionally feminine traits. It could be whatever you want. And with all of that, you can still be an engineer. You don't have to act like a guy or a man. You don't have to pretend to be like that. And that mindset is something that has been really helpful to me as well. And yeah, just it's hard to point out all the problems, but feel confident in your capability, because every human has a brain, and that brain has parts for logic and reasoning and understanding, and those are the basics that form all of science. So just go for it, be confident and go for it.
You enjoy doing any of the girly things, you should be able to. You should not be forced to be someone else to pursue your dreams or something you're interested in. And what I'd like to suggest is looking at a lot of resources online, looking at women who have made it to one of the topmost positions, or even just talking to a few seniors or people who have made it to engineering colleges and how they're surviving. Their stories will definitely help you overcome your fear, or maybe even convince your parents. There are a lot of online groups as well, like Women Tech Makers by Google. All of these are groups specifically for women to encourage each other in the field of technology. And you
Thank you, Pooja, and thanks to all the panelists for sharing your thoughts on this subject. I'd just like to pitch in here and say that a huge kudos to all of you. Despite all the challenges that women face in this field, you've all made it, and you're at one of the most premier institutes. So now let's talk about what it is that you guys would want to do with your future. What dreams do you have for your career? Haripriya, we would love to hear from you.
So I don't exactly have a fixed plan right now, but I'm considering a career in machine learning, and I've been thinking of maybe pursuing higher studies in that course. And coming to a job, well, I would like to take a job that challenges me and that I would love doing. So because that having an interest and loving your job is one of the main, it should be one of the main reasons for you to take.
So I want to work in the field of computational privacy. I want to be able to build tools and ways for people to exchange information and make good use of it using smart things like machine learning, which Prerna was talking about. Not Prerna, sorry, Haripriya was talking about. And to be able to do that in such a way that no single person's privacy is compromised. And really enabling the future of how much we can automate tasks and create new sorts of opportunities for people. So that's the field I want to be in. I think most probably I will be going higher up in education. I will be pursuing a PhD after this. And that would be my path to eventually working in the field that I'm interested in. I also want to work on building infrastructure for improved education, especially for girls in India. So that is something I really want to build, like improving the education and the opportunities for all girl students, school girl students within the country. And on a side note, I would like it if I could become an artist. But yeah.
Like as Priya and like Pooja said, even I am not completely sure about my dream or like what I want, but I have huge interest in ethical hacking. And when I in my vacations I was doing some ethical hacking courses, and I got found it really interesting. And even we are currently seeing that in our current digital world, how these cyber crimes and all those stuff are increasing. Just like security, we have a lot of security features, these crimes levels are also increasing day by day. So if I get a chance, I really want to contribute in this cyber security area, and I want to do something in this ethical hacking thing. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Prerna, for sharing that. It's so interesting to see that you all have such different areas of expertise in what it is that you would like to do after college. And it is true that IIIT enables different kinds of careers, and you can choose your own path. So yeah, great to hear from you. Just the next question that I have for you is, let's back up a little bit and hear about your experiences on campus, unrelated to academics and your professional career. We would love to get to know what it is like to live on a residential campus.
Living in a residential campus is one of those experiences that you will cherish for your life. It's nothing like going to a normal college and coming back home. Your entire time of complete 4 years would be filled with fun and learning does not only happen in classes, it happens throughout the time that you stay there. And to be frank, most of the learning actually happens at nights, where you're just up in the lab talking to your friends and working on similar projects or assignments that have been assigned to you. And spending quality time with your friends and classmates and working together is what makes up most of your experience there. And it is definitely educational and also extremely entertaining. And it's a very unique experience that when you think back is definitely something that you would not want to miss out on. And especially staying on the campus with your professors and having the liberty of meeting them at any given point of time.
So living on a residential campus, the main thing is you learn a lot of skills. Like you learn how to handle money, because I remember having a budget book in my first year because I really didn't know where my money was going. And then you learn how to be independent, how to look after your room, how to wash a plate, and so many other skills. And the main thing about being in a residential campus is the hostel life that you have, and the friends and the community, because the learning, it's also a very good learning experience, because I remember right before exams, the amount of studying that goes on in a hostel is unparalleled. And the campus is very green, so there are a lot of trees, and I used to love going to walks around the campus. And when you go out in the campus, it does not feel like you're situated in the middle of a metropolitan city, because it feels so different from the outside, and despite it being situated in such a convenient location. So a residential campus has so many plus points. You have a lot of freedom, and that is one important thing. So, and you make friends in hostel that will stay with you for life. So yeah.
Yeah, so at least for me, it was like completely different experience living here. Like first time, out of this far from my town, and like the main thing I love about ITI is about like the greenery. It has the peace we found here. Like it was like extremely good. And then there were so many things which I did first time in my life when I came to ITI at campus. Like which my father think that they didn't know how it's gonna be campus, how I'm gonna make friends, but everything was like so easy. Like even seniors, everyone was so supportive, and we used to have talk with friends at late at nights, and we used to watch movies. Like the whole experience was completely different, and not only just fun. We used to have, even if you have some doubt, we used to learn, we used to discuss at any point of time. Like you can call and can talk with anyone. And I remember that I went to watch a movie with my friends first time, like after coming to IIT Hyderabad, like this far, like because in my town there was no movie hall, so like even that was a quite like completely different experience. And like in the first year we had the trip of that Golconda Fort and all those Hyderabad visit, so that was really good. Like we have interacted with so many like seniors and friends. So I guess like it's a completely different experience living at a residential campus.
So living in hostel or living on a residential campus really brings you out of your comfort zone, because there's nobody who's going to wake you up in the morning or give you lunch, breakfast or dinner, and you kind of have to learn, you have to make your own habits, and it's a new kind of freedom where you really learn how to be responsible and how to also enjoy. And hostel life is probably the best part about living on a residential campus, because you can just have so much fun with your friends, and Yeah, so another thing is the kind of diversity that you see on campus. Like you meet all sorts of very different people, and that really helps you, I don't know, broaden your mind, broaden your perspectives, and all the different events that happen on campus are really fun. And another thing that if you come to Triple ID Hyderabad, you will see is that it's an extremely green and beautiful campus, and its walls and benches are filled with art. And it is so beautiful to just take an early morning walk or a late night walk. And yeah, it's a very enriching experience to live there.
Thanks, Kritika, for sharing that, and to all the panelists for talking about your hostel life experiences. One thing that I'd like to add from my experience is the diversity and the quality of food. So we have 4 types of messes at Triple IT. That is the Kadam mess, Yuktahar, North mess, and South mess. So when I was at home, of course, when I went to hostel, I did not want to try out a hostel food because I love my mom's food, right? So I was so skeptical of changing that. But I got to try so many types of different cuisines. I actually had never had South mess food before, but now I'm a lover of dosas and idli. I flock to the South mess whenever they are offering that, as well as Yuktahar. So Yuktahar follows a regime that is that their food is purely healthy and there's not too much sugar and or salt, and it's filled with the correct ingredients. So while some people consider that bland, I thought that it was a new experience and I really loved trying that out. So food was something I definitely, got a diverse input on when I came to campus. Another thing that a lot of you already covered is that the independence that you get from living alone. I was my dad's little girl when I was staying at home. But when I finally, went to college, I realized that I could not stay in my parents' shelter forever. And it was hard to live alone, manage everything independently, but it's also a very empowering and rewarding experience. And that really enabled me to grow as a person. So thank you to all our panelists for answering that question. Now, moving on to the last question for this session. Do you have any advice or message for the women students applying to Triple IT?
One thing I'd like to say is definitely reach out for things that are out of your comfort zone, or even that you think that is something not achievable for you, because you never know the height of things that you could achieve if given an opportunity, and if you don't ask for it, no one's going to hand it out to you. So definitely aim for something higher, aim for something better than you always think you can, and it covers a lot of points that we've talked about throughout the entire talk, and that's something that I believe in as well, because a lot of people around you can tell you that you're not fit for this, you're not good enough for something, or you won't be able to do it even if you try for it. But what's the worst thing that could happen? You prove them right once, but you could prove them wrong a million times later if you keep trying. But if you never try, you could never do anything more than what they expect of you. So always keep trying and never lose confidence is something that I would like to say.
So, I would say for the girls who are sure, Harita said she wasn't 11, she says to Narayana coaching to coming to Triple IT, she worked really hard. So I would say for the girls who are really sure about the career and they're coming to but just scared how's the campus is gonna be, then we've already tell it's really completely different to living in a campus like this, and it's really gonna be completely unique experience for you all. But even I want to say for the girls who are not exactly sure what they want, but like me, I wasn't sure, and but want to explore something, want to have some interest in some subject, and you want to check what you want in real life, then it's really a good place where you come, and then there are professors, there are seniors to guide you. Everyone here is so supportive. So I just want to say that I would just want to say all the best to everyone.
Well, I would say be confident. It's okay if you have no technical knowledge or if you don't know much about computers or anything, because I came from a similar place and you will definitely thrive here if you work hard. Triple IT has a very small community, so you have more chances, more opportunities to come out of your shell, to showcase your talents. There's a lot of support, and it's a very good cultural experience for you. And I also say to follow your interests, even though they might not be the most popular choice, go according to your interests. Because I took ECE even though I was getting computer science, which is the most popular choice for almost everybody. But I was really interested in communication and signal processing field. So that encouraged me to take ECE despite getting CSE, and I don't regret that choice because because it's something that interests me. So I'm happy for that. And I hope to see you all.
Yeah, so adding to what Pooja and Prerna have been saying, I would say trust your instincts. You will have a few options or maybe many options in front of you when you are applying, and it's not necessary that the most popular college is the right college for you. And in fact, in my experience, the way I assessed universities when I was applying was through personal experience. So what I would do is I would go to the websites of these universities, and often you will find that their curriculum is online, is uploaded there, and you can even find the contacts of students studying in that university. So you can actually reach out to students on these forums, and you can go through the curriculum once and see if that's something that interests you. And yeah, talking to students from the universities had really helped me. And in fact, I'm sure this is more common knowledge than I assume, but many times these rankings that you find of different universities are paid rankings. So you might be thinking that maybe this university is really good. Maybe it's the #1 or #2 university in certain rankings, but they could have gotten that ranking just by paying money to get that. So trust your instincts, do your research before applying, talk to the students of that university, and definitely join a residential campus. And the smaller the community, the more personal your experience.
With that, we come to an end to the session. Thank you to the panelists for answering all our questions and sharing your personal life experiences. To all the girls who are watching this session, all of us are here and all our panelists are doing phenomenally, and we would love to have you here and be part of the community. So looking forward to having many more of you on campus this year. Thanks again for watching this session.